we're going to continue developing our um, overlay with jQuery. And before you continue, please go to the blog post of the video where you will find a transcript of everything we're going to do in this lesson. And of course, as always, follow me on Twitter. I'm at Vastrimalandia. We are also at Race Karate. Follow us on Facebook too, and of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to see more of us. So let's start. So here we have overlay-gallery.coffee. Here we have our HTML, and the first thing we want to do is to give this URL element an ID. We'll give it the ID of gallery. You can name it whatever you want, and why we do this because making a gallery, using an ID will be easier to select the item um, in CoffeeScript in jQuery. So here's our plan for this functionality, and the first thing we're going to do is to capture the click event. So if you go to the article of the video, here you will find a link to the jQuery API documentation we have seen before. In the events category, you will find the click method, which receives a handler. So we can call the click event on each jQuery object and pass an anonymous function and perform any action. So here, what I'm gonna do is to do that. So I'm going to select the gallery, and we're going to get the click event on the images, on the links of the images. Okay, so every time we click an image, we are going to trigger this event. And of course, let's pass an anonymous function. Great. Now that we have this working, next we need to, well, after we get the click event, then we want to get the href attribute of the anchor element. Why? Because it contains the URL to the image we want to show in the overlay. So this URL is pretty important. So how do we get the value of attributes in HTML? So here in the attributes category, we have the attr method, which is just a method that receives the attribute name as a string, so we can get the value of any attribute. Let's see how it works. I'm going to create a new variable called URL, and it's going to have I will explain this in a little bit. Okay, wait. Okay, a click. Okay, and we pass here the name of the attribute we want to get. In this case, is href, and this at symbol means that the current context in CoffeeScript, we can get the current context using this at symbol. And in this case, it will be the clicked element. So the clicked link will be represented by this at symbol, and we can get its href attribute using this function. Now let's see if this works. Okay, so I'm going to make a console log of URL. Let's see what happened. I have here the gallery, and let's click one of these. Okay, and as you can see here, I have here the console. Make sure you have it opened, and as you can see here, we don't see anything, because once you click an image or a link, the normal fashion or the normal behavior is to be redirected, so you can't actually see this console log statement, what it prints. So what we need to do is to delete this default behavior. I mean, to do not allow the default behavior, And we can do that using here in the category events. We can do that using this one, if event prevent default. So there is an example. It's very similar to the look. It's pretty similar. And we get a function, and the function receives the event parameter or argument, and we can call the prevent default over the element. So we just need to add here the event, and then we can just say event that prevent default. I just needed to save the JS file. Don't leave it open because sometimes it crashes. So make sure you have the coffee-o JS file. I mean the coffee-o the JS command running for compile from CoffeeScript to JavaScript. And now, as you can see, every time I click an image, here you can see here in the console how its href value is printed. We will use this later on for show the image in the overlay. Well, we're doing the first part of our task. Next part is to build the overlay markup. For do that, I'm going to, let's say I'm going to, well, we can add the markup of the overlay here directly, but we are not going to do that. Let me show you what we are going to do. I'm going to create a new variable here called overlay. It's going to be equal. It's going to be equal to a jQuery object. Okay, so this jQuery object will be a div, and it has the ID overlay. So this is the jQuery object that is represented in the overlay, and we're going to use method for jQuery called append that allow us to add or append HTML to another HTML. Let me show you. So we can say here, select the body. Sorry. Body, and we can say append, and we are going to send it the overlay. This way we are appending the overlay or this jQuery object that is this HTML to the end of the body. And you can notice we are using here $sign for this variable, and it is because just for convention, for standards, when we have a variable that is equal to a jQuery object, we use a $sign just for remember that it is a jQuery object. So we are appending this, and you should wondering why we are doing this, doing it this way. Why we just don't add the markup of the overlay and edit it or hide it and show it with CSS. Well, because using these jQuery objects, perform some actions will be easier, or manipulate the overlay will be easier with jQuery. Because we, for example, can do things like this. We can say, for example, once we click the image, we can say, let's show the overlay. So overlay, let's show, or overlay that hide. Pretty easy. Okay. Right now, let's add some CSS. I have the CSS here, the article. Just copy it. So I have here the CSS, and let's copy it in the overlay CSS at the end. Here I have the overlay and the styles. We just added some basic styles, and we added this display none. It means that once we append these, we append to the body, to the end of the body, it will be invisible due to the CSS we added. And what we want to do is to show it once we click an image. So let's say overlay. Let's show. And let's see how it works. Okay, let's save this. Okay, so here in the background, in the RGBA, I had a small mistake. Make sure it is RGBA, that is red, green, blue, alpha, and have these values. Now let's see if it works. Okay, let's close this and open this. Once we click an image and let's see, and as you can see, the background and everything, all the page goes black or mid black, and it means the overlay is showing up. If we inspect the element, we can see that here's the overlay. So actually, we are doing this. We get the click event. We prevent the default behavior of the uncalled element. We show our overlay, that is a jQuery object appended at the end of the body, and that in the CSS initially is not visible due to this property that is displayed now, and we just show it. Okay, so we have the URL htr, the href attribute, and the only thing we need now is to display the image into the overlay. So that will be the J challenge. So if you go to the article or video, you will see the J challenge, and the J challenge is actually with what you have. Try to show within the overlay the image. Just try to make the image appear here in the original size. That will be the J challenge. If you accept the challenge, don't forget to drop us a line on Twitter using the hashtag JChallenge. And if you like this video, click the up button, the like button in YouTube, and see you the next lesson. Bye bye.